think we figured it out. We should be live streaming. We're going to give Facebook a second to catch up with us, but we are showing us streaming. Let me go in, refresh the page. Hello, everyone.
You're on YouTube.
It's the April Mixer. All right.
You're on YouTube.
Cool. There now. All righty. Well, we did it. I think we did it, guys. We collectively, the three of us, figured out how the internet works. So welcome, everyone. It is April. It is the monthly mixer for the Haunted Attraction Association.
Thank you, the book that Eldor loves us.
Right. I am joined tonight, of course, with the entire production team of Brett Molitor. And then tonight, Todd Patton from Dread Hollow has joined us as well. And we're expecting Kevin Donovan from Everhaunt to pop in here in a few minutes as well to talk about a really dynamic and unique topic. And that topic is, of course, culture, staff culture, worker culture, the environment that we put out. Culture is a big thing in all modern industries. It really is. It's a buzzword for most industries. Oh, we have the best culture. We're building a strong culture. We're building a resilient culture. With our industry, though, it's a little bit different because we, for the majority of the year, a lot of us are deprived of the ability to reinforce culture. Getting to see your workers every day of the week in full-time capacity allows you to, have a different kind of hold on how morale is and how your staff is and how they're taking care of themselves, how you can take care of them. When you only see them on weekends or you only see them for a portion of the year, that starts to present some very, very unique changes to some of the most common strategies that people would deploy to build a strong, positive culture within their workplace. And then there's some other issues that we also find that we just specifically in our industry have. Sometimes staffing is brutal, and to coin a phrase, you'll take anybody off the street. That's a common thing I've heard from quite a few owners and operators is they need people. So they're functioning. They have a heartbeat. They're breathing. I'm going to bring them in. And that idea sometimes also bleeds into the idea that our staff themselves, in a lot of cases, are very unique. Let's be honest. It takes a special type of person to want to jump out in the dark and scream at other people. It's just kind of the way it is. Even I know at my attraction, and I'm sure that can chime in here, but even my event staff they're very unique people. And that's my nice way of saying they're weird, but I'm weird. So that's okay. But we have a very unique demographic. If you guys like to jump in and just give me some thoughts on what makes your demographic of actor and staff, unique.
Brett, go ahead. Oh, you want me to go?
Sure.
Well, I mean, I call them my misfit kids. Literally, a lot of them either, they all call me Poppy Todd around the haunt now. So it's like, I'm the new dad for them, for some of them who maybe they don't have a good home life or whatever. But I tell you what, it's almost a new family. I know everybody calls it the haunt family, but it is for us. It literally is another family. And we look forward to that reunion every September, or August when we start getting back together, other than the few core that work all year helping do the rebuilds and structure and stuff. But yeah, it is a unique group of people and probably some of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, I've found that, you get people from all kinds of different places. Craigslist, referrals. A lot of referrals don't work out because the person's real enthusiastic about it, brings a friend along, and the friend is like, I don't think so. But other people, show up at your door, and all of a sudden, they start getting into it, and they bloom, and you give them, you bring them along slowly because number one, you don't want to scare them away, but you're honest with them about that it's going to be work, and we'll try to fit them in wherever they can do it. And so when we do auditions, we always start with a veteran actor showing what the audition process should look like, so that they see and understand it. And then we kind of see what they do, and we tell them you can't touch people, and you shouldn't be screaming, because that's not going to happen in the haunt itself, or your voice isn't going to last very long. And but we get them to show us something in just a small room full of people, and then we tell them this is what you're going to be doing. And but then as we progress through the whole process, it starts out with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and after a couple weekends, only the strong survive. Only the ones that really get it and really want to do it stick around. But they gel as a group, almost like Todd said, into a family really quickly, and they stick up for each other. They watch out for each other. They help each other. They help each other with makeup. They help each other with what's going on. If somebody needs anything during the show, if the leads aren't available, somebody else is ready to go, jump in to help them. I mean, it's they definitely gel as a group. And we've had when COVID hit, we had 4 different teams, and we split them up and said you can't commingle with another team, because we didn't want, if anybody got COVID, we didn't want to lose the whole team. We felt we could lose 1/4 of the team, and luckily none of the teams come up with any COVID that we had to deal with during the season. But had we had that, but there was a lot of people that were uncomfortable with that, because they were used to having the whole team together.
Yeah.
We put wristbands on them, and if there were 2 people next to each other, they better have the same color wristband. And if they were in the break room, they had the tent was set up into 4 separate sections, and so they had to go to theirs. But we also were cognizant of the outside relationship, because there were small groups that hung around each other, so that made the basis of each of the colors.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain groups that didn't hang out with each other, but there was a group within them. So that way we were able to keep those groups together, because we knew on the outside they were going to commingle there anyway.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And
I mean,
but
COVID presented so many unique problems for
but we learned a lot about that they when we got back to normal, it gelled again even better, because then everybody was together. And sometimes our crew will hang around afterwards for different things. They may
can't make them go home.
You make them go home.
No, I tell you, I'm like, guys, I've got to go home. I'm tired. And they're like, no, but this happened tonight. And I'm like, yeah.
And that camaraderie is really one of the, in my opinion, one of the highest level of hallmarks that separate our haunted attraction industry from almost any other industry. The theater industry is very similar.
Yeah.
But the haunt industry, you have a group of people and I believe this with everything in my heart, that their primary motivation is the art and the performance, and not the paycheck. Like we have to pay them. I'm not advocating that they're not there for the money. Trust me, I feel that they very well should be paid. But I feel that their primary motivator for dragging themselves back in on a Sunday night after killing themselves on a Saturday night is not that paper check. I truly believe it's some level of satisfaction that they get from their performance and from the camaraderie and that feeling of I'm a part of something bigger. And I think the attractions that work on that, where Brett, you have that, and Todd, you have that, where your team is gelled and cohesive and supportive. Those are the teams that show up. Those are the teams that when the ship's about to go under, they'll lift it up above the waves. And those are the teams that we want to build. And truthfully, one of the most important things that I believe we can focus on, and this is from the first day they walk through the door, is honesty, is being honest and candid. This is what the job is.
It's not easy.
This is our expectations of your performance of the job. One of the things that I've found is that your workers will feel, well, I, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And if you didn't set the standard right from the gate and you try to set it down the road a little bit, then I feel like they're more family and less staff. You know what I mean? And you end up with this like this problem where it's like, well, but we love Mike. Mike's the best. He's a good guy. Well, Mike keeps breaking our props, and Mike keeps holding up the conga line, and Mike keeps accidentally touching customers inappropriately. We can look at Mike as a bad apple, or we can look at how did we bring Mike in? Were we truthful and honest about our expectations of Mike? Or did we have him breeze through a handbook, sign it, and pump him right into an actor training clinic? You know, I think that we owe honesty from the gate to all of these people coming in, and we tell them that we are going to be supportive. This is an area where you can grow. This is an area where you can be safe. This is an area where you can network and develop this camaraderie and family. But in exchange for all that, I need you here on time, sober. I need you ready to kick ass, and more importantly than that, I need you ready to do your best. And this is one of those big things that I believe builds the most amount of trust with our staff to us, is when we ask them to come in and do their best. We're not asking for a home run, no hitter every time they walk through the door. We're asking for the best in the moment. What's the best you can give me today? It's Sunday. We just had 5,000 people walk through our haunt last night. I know you didn't go home and go to bed. You went out. You drank till 2 a.m. You took some Tylenol PM and went to bed. You woke up at 6 in the morning because you guys do this weird breakfast tradition, and you're dragging. So I know you're a hurt puppy. I know you don't have 100% to give me. So I need to understand that. But I want you to give me your best. You have to give me whatever the best you have. And I think that standard allows us the flexibility to be like, yes, we're a family, if the expectation is being met. But it's all got to be predicated on honesty, How have you guys been doing with the just the candidness of saying, hey, this is our standard? Have you guys seen an uptick in your performance and your attendance? Because I believe they're hand in hand.
Oh yeah, we've been doing it for quite a while. And one of the other things we tell them is, this is not a dating site. This is not, the Bachelor or the Bachelorette. If you want to pursue a relationship after the season, go ahead and make that contact. But if you start making contact during the season and you're reported as being persistently, not listening, you could be bounced off the crew, because we are not going to have harassment. And we'll tell them that's what it's going to be classified as, is harassment. And, over the years, we've had, people leave voice messages, and, they bring them in and go, listen to this. And it's like, holy crap. And, it's like, okay, you got to make sure this stops, because we want to make sure that everybody is there feeling comfortable and safe. And we emphasize that on a continual basis, so that if they, we tell them, if you feel uncomfortable, take it to the lead, or take it to the manager, or take it to me, but let us know, because we don't want you to be in a position where you're going to think, okay, I'm not going to do this, and just leave. We'd rather address it and adjust it and go from there. And we don't have a problem with telling somebody, you've crossed the line, and you're not going to be back. Okay. They appreciate that. They really do. And the other thing is, you're talking about, them coming in, maybe not on their best thing, but about 15 years ago, I listened to somebody in a seminar, and I taught right before them, and then I listened, and we've been doing all kinds of different things with food. And it made the most sense when they said, the race car driver gets his car set up, and they set him up with a full tank of gas and 4 good tires, and make sure that they have, something, water if they need it, and everything ready to go. He says, your people come in, they might come in from work, right straight there, didn't have a chance to stop for anything to eat. They may come from a dysfunctional family. If you feed them, it's going to be the only meal they have all day. They're going to, have eaten in lunch and they haven't had a chance to grab something for whatever reason. He says, now, are you going to let them go to, become an actor and do scares with part of a tank of gas or nothing in their tank? Or are you going to feed them, give them a good, decent meal so that they're fueled up and they have energy? And I learned something just a couple weeks ago, a little tip that we're going to incorporate this year, is that partway through the night, we're going to go around and pass out protein bars. I'd never thought of that before. Because at the end, if they stop for break, usually the food is still there. And at the end, we wait till after they've come back and start getting undressed and start taking their makeup off. And they may grab some of the leftover food. I don't want to take the food home. I've already paid for it. And, I tell them, hey, grab it, eat it, get it, finish it up. And occasionally I get somebody that says, hey, I really don't have anything at home. Can I take a plate home? Yes, take a plate home. Take a couple plates home.
Yeah, take the tray. Take the tray. Here, take the tray. Yeah, I've given away trays. I've given away trays. Take the tray, please.
But at the beginning of the night, you want to make sure that they're not only they look ready and they got the right costume, but they're fueled up. And we give them water all through the night. I do a special water bottle for the actors, and they're not allowed to take the store-bought water bottles into the haunt. They have to take their water bottle that we've issued them. We put their name on it with the stickers and stuff, whatever nickname, and it's a dark color so they can lay it down in the corner or set it in the corner, and it's not seen, by anybody as people are going through. But their water's there, and then they have, we go around with a buffalo tank and refill their waters so that they have water on a regular basis. Then you get the new ones that drink too much water, and 45 minutes into the show, hey, I need a pee break. You look at your watch, it's like 45 minutes.
Or even worse, they drink so much water that they end up developing hyperkalemia because they're sweating, and I've had the gamut. I will say one of the things, especially building that kind of, we're going to take care of you culture. One of the things we always need to keep track of, and this is specific to anyone who is finding themselves in a leadership position. This is very, very, very important. The people that are subordinate to you, the people that you're leading, the people that you're over top of, no matter what level of leadership you are, they have to feel heard. They have to feel that you're listening to them. I'll admit it. I've led a lot of different people at a lot of different haunts, and I am terrible at names. It takes me years. It takes me years to remember names. I am so horrifically bad at names. So I developed the idea that everybody's pal, buddy, guy, friend. It's just, that's how I do it, dude. But I let them know that is specifically this is me addressing you because I am terrible at remembering names. It's not that I forgot your name. I know what size costume you wear. I know what kind of car you drive. I know that you hang out with those three people and you sit in that side of the crew room. And I know how you haunt. I know how you scare. I know your timing. I can tell you all kinds of stuff about yourself. I just can't remember your damn name. I'm bad at it. It's something that my brain doesn't, it takes forever. But once I know your name, I'll never forget it. 30 years from now, you could bump into me at a supermarket. I will remember your name once I remember your name. Which is weird. I'm just weird that way. But that level of anyone that I've ever been in charge of knows emphatically that my door is open and you can speak with me. You have a problem, you can tell me your problem. You had a success, you can tell me your success. And I feel like that openness allows them to develop a voice so that way if they are getting bullied or they are getting harassed or they are having a straight up not good time, they know that their leadership will listen to them, and then through that you can coach your people and be like, now, do you want me to do something or are you just complaining? You know what I mean? You can have that conversation. Does this require action or an audience? Do you want me to listen to your plight or do you want me to solve your problem? Because sometimes they just want to, vent. They need to vent. Oh, I'm so angry. Blah, 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 blah. This customer, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, Did you think about, well, no, I'm not looking for an answer. I just want to yell about this horrible customer I had. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll listen to you. But in doing that and enforcing that with your leadership is in their position to make the people below them and around them more successful. So there is no time where it's, oh, no, I'm not listening to them. Well, no, make time. That 10 seconds, that 15-second interaction can undo hours of heartache down the road. So just listen. It's okay. And I think that's a big thing, is that open line of communication. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
Well, I usually try to camp out at we have a whiteboard where they can write whatever broke in their area or whatever section they were in. They can write on the board where I can fix it the next day, before because if they don't write it then, the next day they're going to forget about it. So I usually hang out by the whiteboard so I can at least tell them all good night or say, hey, how'd it go? You did great, man. I came through your scene a couple of times, whatever. But I mean, it's great when because a lot of them are scared to write. There's a nail or something I'm getting caught on. I'm like, well, where at? And then we'll go walk to their scene and I'll find it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's just, like you said, being present, letting them know that, I am approachable. We do have management underneath me that they can talk to, but sometimes it does need to elevate to me and the other co-owner too. But no, we try to be there and flexible, and we work scenes with them. We do all the training with them. So yeah, totally.
Cool.
Kevin joined us.
Welcome, Mr. Kevin Donovan from Everhaunt. Welcome, sir.
Jim, Brett, Todd, how you doing, guys?
Howdy.
I think Brett's like, I can leave. As soon as you came in, Kevin, Brett was like, I'm out of here. Back to the back behind the studio. Cool. So, Kevin, we're just touching on a lot of best practices with culture and building culture, maintaining culture with your staff. How the haunt industry is really a very unique group of people, and it's different how we maintain culture versus, say, some business that runs year round and has full-time workers.
Sure.
We were just about to segue into what are some of the best strategies we can employ for the crew members that want to grow within this industry. Let's be honest. There's in my regards, there's two very specific types of haunters. There are seasonal haunters, and then there are haunters. There are seasonal workers, and I love my seasonal workers. They come out, they do great, they enjoy it. It's a relief for them. But then there's haunters. There's people who live and die by this entire industry. What kind of strategies have you guys used to help those specific workers know, number one, that they can grow in this industry? Why they'd want to, but they can grow in this industry. And then what any strategies that you've deployed that you found effective to help develop future leaders and future people in charge?
Yeah, Jim, I'll just jump in right away. Sorry. It's like,
That's
hey,
good.
Here comes the steamroller. Sorry, Todd. No, look, I think at the end of any employee development, you need to have your team members' best interests at heart. And that starts from orientation to your goals and to the mission statement of the haunted house. I mean, right in the mission statement, it should say in there that you want your team to have that pursuit of development and growth. In our case, and it took us some time to get there, but we offer classes all year round, and we offer a leadership class, and it's called Enlightening the Darkness. We do have a class. It's free to our team members. We do have them come, and if they want to, and usually we have 10 to 15 people show up in the summertime. That's how we kind of keep the team together again, even in the off season. And then as we get closer to the season, we have the rest of our Everhaunt University is called. And that's our acting classes. That's our orientations. That's our makeup, and stuff like that. But in terms of leadership and growth, Jim, I think the best thing that you can do is just be a model leader. Do the right things, show that team that you're investing in them every single day, and take care of them. I've always lived, and I don't want to go on for too long, and I apologize. I've always believed that our team members are the most important part of our haunt. I don't care about the $12,000 animation in the room. Yes, it's there, but I don't care about the set that has 8 layers of paint on the wall. That's all great. But the bottom line is if you take care of your team and they know that they're the number one piece of your business, they are going to want to stay there. They're going to want to grow. They're going to want to learn. And I really think the main thing, if you want people to grow, act the part, include them in items, make them want to be there. You know what I mean? Just through your own actions. So, but the Everhaunt University that we do and our leadership training, which Jim, I've been doing leadership. I'm in my 28th year right now. It's just so important because you're investing in them. They feel it. And then a part of that is what that content is. So are you just going through opening and closing procedures? Are you just going through that? No, teach servant leadership, teach them.
Are we
the
teaching
right
management
way.
or are we teaching leadership? Because you can manage
Correct.
a ton of different things at a haunt, but you have to lead your people.
100%. Yep. So
Cool. Todd?
I mean that Kevin nailed it pretty much, but yeah, we've actually had one of our makeup artists who started with us, and now she's doing movies and stuff, and she actually still comes a few times and trains the new makeup artists and stuff, to kind of get them up to speed and everything. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of our people grow and get out and move on, and we tell them all the time, don't let the real job get in the way of the fun job. For some of the ones who are the part-time haunters, we've had people drive literally 2.5 hours just to work every night, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't even do that. But I mean, we've had some real dedicated people. So yeah, we try to, like I said, build that community, a family, and that mentality of, they actually call the other owner Uncle, Mom, Dad, and they call me Poppy Todd. So it's like, so we are a family. So when the kids get out of line, we, have to talk to them, but we're still there growing them and trying to get them to improve and become better people, like you said, and a lot of the actors we have either had a bad home life or they don't have a mom and dad now that appreciate their weirdness. And so we appreciate that and actually get together, do pool parties at my house. We're actually going out of town in a few weeks with our manager team to get away with all them, getting ready for the, upcoming season and everything. So yeah, I mean, and the training is something that we're doing now too. We usually play movies on our big screen in the back of the building during the haunt season, and we're actually going to start doing training videos and all on those instead. So for anybody that wants to come, that's part of the haunt. So
amazing. And then I'd be now, granted, I mean, we're always talking about for owners, operators, leaders, but I have to put this out there for our haunters who may tune in and watch this after they're done the East Coast Haunted Convention tours tonight, because I know that's where a lot of our audience is, and that is popping off. That's going to be a very exciting weekend. We're really excited to be a part of that. But for those of you who are watching this who aren't currently leaders or are maybe starting to be leaders, let's remember that the most golden rule to grow is to be present. You have to show up. I can't stress this enough. I have had many experiences over the years with a lot of go-getters who forgot that step. They want to do everything. Well, let me do it. Why don't you ask me to do it? Because you weren't here. Like, I'm not going to hit you up on Facebook to ask you to help me carry bottles of water up 2 flights of stairs. I'm going to ask the person who's right here with me to help me carry bottled waters up the stairs. So please, please, please remember, if you want to make the climb, you have to show up to the ladder to start climbing. You have to be present. And there's going to be times, and this is our industry, there's going to be, I can't tell you how many days I worked for free or for pennies, just because I was learning something, just because I was being enabled to do something that put another tool in my toolbox. And I took those moments and I said to myself that I'm being paid because I'm growing and I'm learning, and I can accept that as payment in this moment because I know down the road it's going to pay off. And in my circumstance, I'm an operations manager. I'm capable, and I've run operations at multiple haunted attractions. Like, that's a really cool thing that I never would have got to do if I didn't show up consistently. So remember that when you're starting, how do I get started? How do I get moving? Show up, be present.
Hey, Jim, just one thing to add to that. I just thinking through all this, I'm not a big titles guy, so we have no titles at our haunted house. Yes, and we're not a big haunt like Penners. We have 50 people a night. It's not crazy. But even in our orientation and our training, we have the list of who does what and everything, and we consider our actors leaders. I mean, they are just as important as myself as the owner, and truthfully, as the owner, I will do anything there, and they know that. And I think that helps them feel more comfortable of wanting to grow there, and you know what I mean. So I think a big piece of it for us is, again, we talk about that culture, and it's creating an environment where everybody means and is essential to that haunt. And I also think that's a big piece. Yes, being present, but also when they get present, it's making every single person there feel and know that they are as important as anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we go over that in our training. We're like, we can build the beautiful sets, we can do whatever, but without you, we are nothing. I mean, literally, we are nothing. And you are the heart and soul of the attraction. And we are a firm believer in actor driven haunt. And we do have animatronics and pneumatic props and everything, but as I tell people, those are the distraction. Our actors of the main source.
Yeah. And don't forget that all positions of leadership should be open to the idea of mentorship. If I know and I can teach it to someone else, I now have an obligation to teach it. I know some people hate, I don't want to teach nobody how to do stuff. Bud, you're the only one who knows how to do it. I need you to show this to another person. Like, knowledge is supposed to be shared. It's not something secret that you bundle in on yourself. You share knowledge. I know that it's funny because I climbed up the ladder and I got to a position where, I had every right to delegate and assign duties, and I'm terrible at delegating because I just do stuff. So my crew knows me as the guy who is taking out trash when they show up at the beginning of the night. They know me as the guy who's pushing a broom. They know me as the guy who responds to every EMS call, even though I have a full EMS team. And that shows them that I'm still invested in them. It's not just the whole show. They're still an individual part, and that no one is too high. There's no position that's excluded from, I don't have to do that. What do you mean you don't have to do that? Come on, let's go do that. You know what I mean? Sorry, we're gonna go sweep up that glitter because the clowns had an accident last night. I'm gonna go sweep up glitter.
I'm gonna go unclog that toilet. I'm gonna go
get the cell phone out of the porta potty because somebody has to do it. And I think that's one of the most important things for leadership to remember is that if you want to get the most out of your crew has to look at you as a person worthy of emulating, following, and be the role model. Be the role model. Yeah. Be the action that you want to see. You have to be that action.
Well, as one of my old bosses told me one time, he said a real leader leads the charge across the battlefield. He's not in the trenches going, hey, you'll go out there and go get them. He's leading the troops. And that's what I think you're talking about. So,
yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Service leadership. I'm here to hold, So moving forward, let's talk a little bit about our crew and our crew themselves. One of the things that sometimes gets left out to the wind is, especially when we're trying to staff a haunted attraction, when we're trying to make sure that our show's running the best it can and we're fully staffed, we start losing sight of, and I've seen it happen, where we lose sight that our workers are people. They're humans. They have lives outside of work. They have full-time jobs. And most of them overwhelmingly have some sort of career or life or job outside of the haunt. We parade this idea of it's October. There's nothing else. Sorry, I can't. It's haunt season. We parade these ideas, but at the end of the day, our staff leaves Sunday night after a night of haunting and most likely is going to work the next morning, to work a full-time week, to come back Friday night and do it all over again. And I feel like one of the things that we should all focus on as leaders and operators is that work-life balance is even more crucial for us as seasonal part-time, because we are the low man on their pole. Realistically, it's very easy to have a great worker for 2 weekends and then they disappear.
Yeah.
Because they realized, oh shit, this is way more than I can handle. And we didn't realize that they were in over their head, that they were pushing their body too hard, that their work life was too difficult. We didn't take the time to see them come in with the bags under their eyes like, oh God, this is a lot. Well, talk to me, bud. Well, me and my wife just had a kid. Well, how long ago? 4 weeks. What? And you're doing haunt season? Bro,
Crazy.
Let's talk about how we can reformat that. Maybe I take you out of this ultra high dynamic scene that's the last one to get off the show floor, and we move you over here. It's a little easier and you get out a little earlier. But once again, that's stuff we can do for a worker and a staff member because we have that relationship. But I hate when people burn out. Like, one of the biggest problems that we had for years, and it really stuck me because I couldn't find a solution until it dawned on me during a conversation. If a worker if I demand a worker put in 100% on Friday, and them putting in 100% on Friday means they can only give me 60 on Saturday, that is my fault. When I could have asked them to give me 80 on Friday, and then they could still deliver another 80 on Saturday and maybe a 60 on Sunday. You have to scale to the person. So if I'm asking for 100% all the time, every minute, you have to give me the best possible that you can give me, you are going to burn that worker out. Mm-hmm. Because they can't give you the best all the time, because I can't give you the best all the time. And I'm asking someone else to do something that I know I can't do. I can do my best in bursts, but not forever. So we have to recognize that. Then we recognize that my position in the haunt, I'm full time. This is my job. I get Monday off sometimes. They're going to work. So it's remembering that they have these extra responsibilities and then catering a little bit to them to, this is our expectation. This is what we need in this position. Can you do this? Or do I need to teach you a different type of haunting and put you over here? We have the power to do that. And then we truly get the most out of them without burning them out.
Yeah, Jim. And I also, I think I hate to turn this into a leadership thing again. I feel like, we're trying to do it on culture, but I mean, if you know your team members, the ones that are able to go full speed, you know what I mean? We always train in our orientation about pacing and pacing and pacing. You're not going to give 100% that first, you know what I mean? You're always going to give the good scares, but ease up to get there. But I think a big thing is just keeping people trained in multiple spots. So, we'll look at it on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and our elevator guy, one of our elevator guys, goes, he's jumping off the walls, but we have a second elevator guy that jumps into that spot on Saturdays. So that way we're not destroying both of those guys. You know what I mean? So it's really getting people cross-trained all across the haunt. Our actors are all trained in ticketing. Our actors are all trained as our side, outside. We have all different kinds of attractions. So for us, and look, we know who the top actors are. We're not pulling them out of the house, but we could put them in another spot or so on and so forth. So I think that's a way to balance it. Also, for me, again, it's always learning. As you go as an owner, you learn. And the first year we opened, and the second year we ran Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday one weekend. And listen, everybody by the end of it was toast. So I never ran Thursdays again. And if I lost money, oh well, I don't really care, because I want the team to be taken care of, and I want the show to be 100%. And running 4 days in a row for us, the show wasn't 100% by Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, so exactly. So I think that it's pacing, it's balancing, it's getting people cross trained in different actor areas. And I'm not saying that the show is going to drop. Like, these are all skilled actors, but you know that there's spots that are harder than other spots.
Oh yeah.
The guy who's falling across the top is not going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you set up a bungee rig, you better have 3 workers on it. You know what I mean? That are rotating. So you have to
that's kind of what I was
think through. What am I asking of them? Look at Universal's model. Universal Studios Horror Nights has an A team and a B team, and they rotate. So they're out there scaring for like an hour, and then they rotate, and a different team comes in, and they take over, and they run for an hour, and so they're always fresh. They're rested, and that model is very expensive, but it produces one of the most consistent shows available. No matter when you walk through Horror Nights, because we went through, I mean, we've done the RIP through there, and we'll walk through the same haunt like 4 or 5 times, and it is exactly the same. Like, it's consistency beyond, and that's really, but once again, they realize this is a problem. We're putting 30,000 people a night through, plus 50,000 people a night through. Like, those are different. That's a different animal, So
they got the budget to do that.
They do have the budget to do that. Todd, what are you doing to help with things like burnout and keeping your actors fresh and motivated?
Well, we usually on nights that we got them, because some nights everybody don't show up, but we usually schedule at least 2 breakers, and they kind of go through and break, and that way, and they're usually our team leads that know all the positions and know what we're looking for and can fill in. Or I've been the breaker before too. I tell people, from moving from Ruby Falls Haunted Cavern to where we're at in a building now, it's night and day, because back then, it was a cave. So there was only 2 ways to get out: the way you came in or the way, going to exit. And so different atmosphere. And that's what I told somebody. I said, once I did that, going to a building was like heaven for us, because I can't even imagine the guys that, have the fields and all that, the extra room, because our bathrooms are for our employees and our porta potties are for our customers. And, and we tell them all, we love our customers, but y'all are family. And so if something happens, let us know. Yeah. And there's cues and things that they all play off each other. Like I said, it comes back to family and training, because we do a lot of training. Sometimes I feel like we do too much compared to other people.
You don't do your training. Yeah. I don't believe there's a time where you've trained too much. I am a strong believer in, if I can reinforce a skill, a habit, a procedure, it's worth the time. I come from the emergency services background. I spent decades in the emergency services, fire and EMS, and there is no such thing as being too trained. Right. All training does is hedge your bets. That's all it does, is it lets you be that much better in the worst case scenario. So keep that training up. So moving on to one of the next things I wanted to just touch on here as our time is drawing short. What are some creative ways that you guys have reinforced the idea of saying thanks and giving credit to your crew? Any unique things? I know, me personally, I'm a big fan of hey, wow, that was awesome. And acknowledging, hey, what you just did was great. Hey, that you handled that customer beautifully. Great job. I couldn't have done it better. Amazing work. That scare was incredible. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, I'm a very boots on the ground, grounded gratitude guy. So when I'm running around, I appreciate you. Even our radio chatter. Like, it's the most unprofessional radio chatter ever, because we say thank you over the radio. Yeah. And we say, hey, I appreciate that over the radio. Like, and you're hearing this culture of gratitude all throughout our haunt. Copy that. Thank you. Like, and it percolates and it just calms everybody down. I'm a boots on the ground guy. Everybody gets a head nod, a wink, a high five, good work, So what are you doing?
Well, like I said, I usually stay by the whiteboard because I want to know what I got to fix the next day or whatever. And so I'm giving them a high five going, hey, great job tonight. When we close out at the end of the night, every night, I literally walk through each scene behind the last group and basically do a high five and go, dude, awesome job tonight. So I make sure I touch hands with everybody, as the night goes along. And then also at the beginning of the night, we do a thing we call Hail Headley, where the entire crew touches, and we do this whole Hell Headley, I don't know, seance, I guess you want to call it, to basically get the bad juju out and keep the drunks away. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, until somebody experiences it, and I mean, we even had a real estate guy come 3 years ago. I think it was on his bucket list. He's 30 something years old. Is on his bucket list to work a haunted attraction. He came. He's still there. He drives an hour both ways and comes and works every night because he loves the atmosphere and all that. Just the fact that he said his therapist told him it was good therapy. So for anybody out there going to a therapist, this may be good therapy for you to do during the haunt season because you can release a lot of energy. So, but we also do every weekend we collect all the old staff shirts and old shirts from the past, and we give out awards to our best actors of the weekend. And we literally go all the way down the list, which everybody usually gets one. And of course, we do bonuses for if you're there 50% or not 50%, but you only miss one night. And if you make it there all the whole weekend or whatever, you get a bonus. We do potlucks where everybody brings in stuff and food. We do movies, we do trivia, like I said. So, I mean, there's a lot of fun things that we do to keep them all engaged and all during the season, and only for the ones that can make it. And we have the ones that just show up 5 minutes before we open, and they're the first to leave too. So.
Yeah, they haunt, they go.
Yep.
Very similar to that, Todd. We do the exact same thing. You get at the beginning of the night, you get everyone pumped up, but every single night we give actors of the night at the end of the night. Now, yes, sometimes I'll pick those out by just watching overhead, but a lot of those are nominated by the other team members. We also do Monsters of the Week, and that's on Wednesday night. We get the whole team on a Zoom call, and they have chances to nominate those team members up until Wednesday from the weekend. And it's not just, hey, he did a good job. It's not just that, but it's also, hey, how did this person help me this week? How did he help? So, and then we read all those to the team on that Wednesday call, the Zoom call, and everybody gets on it during the week. And then those people who win get a $25 gift card to our store. And also we have Monster of the Week parking spots that have, like, the handicap parking spots. Yeah. We actually have Monster of the Week on the wall that they can park, and it's right next to the door. It's literally the front spot in our building. Nice. I don't really care that we're losing a parking spot there because that's not, worth it to me. We also do Monsters of the Month, things like that. And truthfully, it just creates a culture that people know that you care about them. And and Jim, I think to your point, yes, in the moment, I'm always at the door when people leave. And when they leave at the end of the night, I say thank you to every single person. But it's not just, hey, thanks. No, you watch something that they did that night. So they know that you're invested in them and watching them. You know what I mean? And just like to even take that a step further in terms of creating that culture of giving thanks, you should know every single piece of every team member in terms of what makes them go, what makes them happy. Who just had that baby 4 weeks ago? What's that baby's name? And are you checking in every single day with them? If Tom's having a bad night, well, that Tom's, favorite thing to watch on TV is whatever. So that way you could bring it up and snap him out of the mood. But I also think, just getting back to the giving thanks thing, it's recognizing what they do every single day and thanking them for it so they know that you care. You know what I mean? And that's why, Jim, I loved how you started that off, just by in the moment giving them thanks right there on the spot. Because, yeah, you can give gift cards, you can give bonuses, you can give free shirts and things like that, but nothing goes further than actually them knowing that you care about the work that they do and what they did. So,
yep. And it scales. That doing the boots on the ground thing and just being in the moment with your thanks, it scales, because if all of your leadership is adopting those traits, then they're getting a constant cycle of positive reinforcement. And more importantly, then your leadership, if they have something to address, has the ability that they've built a relationship where it's not they're dogging me. It's, oh, well, wait a minute. If they're saying that this is something that I need to change, well, then I need to change it because I don't want to let them down. They're my greatest supporter, and it changes the dynamic of things. Even things like discipline become vastly different when your staff truly believes that you've invested in them, that you believe in them, that you want the best for them, because then everything's framed under that. So when you do have that moment of, oh man, they effed up, I'll go talk to them, it can be a talk instead of this discipline thing where you're just dogging on them. It's a talk. I'm somebody that respects you. Let me have a conversation about this and we can fix it. It lets you salvage people, when stuff does go off the tracks, which is always good. So Brett, you jump back in. Did you have something?
Yeah, well, I was going to help finish this hour up, but before the season starts, we do some road trips too, because there are haunts that open up before we do, and during the season, there are haunts that run on nights that we don't. So I'll contact the owner of the haunt and say, hey, invite your crew to come to our haunt anytime. You can, or they can, and would you extend professional courtesy to our crew? And in almost all cases, they do. And so we've got, and annually, we've got certain ones that we trade with, or trade crews with. And, we invite the crew to go. We make sure that we help cover gas. We might even help cover food some nights. And we just let them know that the road trip rules are that you don't, slam them on media. And if it's a really, you think there's something really bad, just be cordial and just, be polite. And, if anything, be constructive with them, but don't go negative on them, because we're their guest. And, and don't try to scare.
It's also a professional courtesy. Let's be perfectly frank. That rule is, to me, it's a rule that I use as well. We are going to go visit another haunted attraction. You may not like the show. You may have critiques on the show. You may have problems with the way the show is organized. I'm telling you as your boss, I don't care. Keep it to yourself. Because we are there to appreciate the art that they're putting out for us just as much as our customers come to us to appreciate the art we put out for them.
Yeah, and we tell them to discuss it in the car on the way home.
We can talk, we can quietly talk somewhere else, not in their midway.
Yep. Yeah. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
We always have a lot of fun, and sometimes we'll even do like an exclusive one. We say, hey, we've had some people that have stepped up and have gone out of their way, so we're gonna have a road trip just for them, and and take that, and sometimes we'll do a road trip that's extended, a trip away, and it's not a professional courtesy. It might be one of the big haunts that they get asked by everybody and their brother. So I'll call and say, hey, what kind of a deal will you give me? And then I'll buy the ticket. I always get a discount on the ticket if they're going to charge, and I'll pay for the ticket because the crew doesn't pay when they go, and they get to do that. Now, if I have some people, I've had a former actor that was scheduling a special trip out of town, and his buddies were still acting, and they were saying, hey, we're going to take the night off, and they're not on the schedule. And I just, okay, that's fine. You guys just act whatever nights you want. And just make sure that you act the night you did sign up for. But a couple of them, I told them, I said, it says, the end of the season, the working, every night, that bonus at the end of the season is $100. I said, you might want to go on a night that we're not open to that other one, because your
don't
friends
cost yourself. Don't cost yourself
$100 plus. You having to buy your ticket. Where if you went with me on a night that I'm not open, I'd probably get you comped. You'd still get your end of the season bonus.
I'm kind of old school. If your haunt's open, you better be working at your haunt. We're haunters. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine taking off a night at my haunt to go just check out somebody else's. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel. It'd be weird. I'd be like, I should probably go help them do something while I'm here. You need kitchen help, parking lot help. What can I do? Let me jump in here. Haunt nights are haunt nights. They're for haunting. So
You know,
All right,
Side
cool.
note, guys. I just looking at the comments. What's up, Sean Fenner? And hey, Doug Cox, how you doing? Both of them said hello. Doug Cox said hey to you too, Todd.
Yeah.
Just an FYI.
Yeah.
Good people. Good,
Yeah,
two good
good old
dudes.
Doug.
Lots of good people. Deborah, who's been commenting quite a
Yep.
bit, is one of my staff members from the project I was working out in Michigan a couple years ago, and um, the haunted entertainment training is Brian, who is also was the head actor trainer at that project out in Michigan. So it's nice to see them
Cool.
jumping in and saying hi. Some of the things, just since everybody's talking, some of the things that we do at Pennhurst, we do a lot. We have chili cook-offs, we have summer barbecues, we have haunt trips organized almost every week. Our ownership group is very generous. It's so much so that I'm pretty sure one of our giveaways for a weekend prize last year was we sent a husband and wife team to Horror Nights. Sent them because they showed up and one of the big things we do throughout the season is anyone the leadership has all these little tickets, and they give out these tickets for actors doing great job, hey, great job, you did amazing, high five, here's a ticket. And at the end of the season they turn in those tickets, and those tickets can enter them to win trips, like a cruise or a trip to Horror Nights or a big screen TV, or that's one of the areas that our ownership team has really stepped in, specifically the one has really stepped in and kind of reinvented that end of season party. It's like a whole thing. People are I went to get my last paycheck at Pennhurst and have a dinner and do some dancing, and I walked out with a 75-inch TV, boom. So that's a really unique thing that we have. And but once again, I'll say, I know it motivates some of the workers and it's something that they look forward to, but at the end of the day, I still feel like our workers are there because they want to be there. They want to haunt, they want to do their art, they want to be their character and fulfill that need that these people have to scare other people in the dark. So yeah, we do a lot. All right. Does anybody have any closing thoughts before we bring this one home? And we'll never mention the technical difficulties that we had.
What are you talking about? We didn't have any.
What technical difficulties?
Well, you touched on the end of the year, and as well as other socials and stuff. That's always a good thing to do. Even if it's just periodically during the year in the off season, doesn't have to be anything special. Sometimes it might just be, have a little barbecue and stuff. I got a call a month ago or so. A woman says my daughter's birthday is in April, and she'd love to have a haunted house. A fall birthday, so she could bring a bunch of people to the haunted house. Would you consider doing a birthday party? And I asked the crew, and they're all over it. And I said, she's got a budget. I said, and you guys can have it. You guys can split it. I felt it was just something for them to jump on. And there's a few of them that are going to do it, and they're going to do a very unique type of thing. And they've got a plan. And tomorrow night they're doing a dry run, and then Saturday's the birthday party. And they've really got a lot into it. So, and it's been a great team builder. It really has. It's off season unique type of things like this that you give them some latitude to do, and they just run with it. They really do.
Yeah, and one last thing that I'll throw in there that we do, and our people love it, and all that it helps them learn the haunt too, is we do hide and seek night and play hide and seek. And I tell you what, they eat that up. I'll have more show up for that than I will for the haunt night, but yeah, it's amazing that, but they learn all the areas, they learn all the egresses, they learn all the exits.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, they have a lot of fun. I actually have fun too, because I know a lot of good hiding spots. So, but
hide and seek was, when I've been doing this is my 39th year, and I bought the Haunted Cave and turned it into Hysterium back in 2013. And so the first year I just sat in the corner and I just asked questions. And they come to me and said, the manager said, Russ said we have to ask you for this. And I said, well, Russ is the manager and he's supposed to make all decisions. They said, no, Russ deferred this to you. And I said, okay, what is it? Can we play hide and seek? And I was like, well, what are the pros and cons of this? They said, oh, we have a great time. We'll get to learn to haunt. And what's the cons? Well, Cody and Jim got naked one night. I said, okay, 2 rules: no
Guidelines.
alcohol, no
Gotta have it
alcohol for
clean.
minors, and no nudity by the participants. Because Indiana has a strict minor law on alcohol, and I'm not going to jail for a year.
Yeah.
Owning the building, but it's a great way, like Todd said, for them to learn the building. Because if it was ever lights all off and smoke filled, they could walk their way. They could walk the patients out, or the customers out without a thought about it. They would just go and just do it. And so periodically they do it. And we've come up with some other games along with it. And I know last year season they had the leads against the whole rest of the crew on hide and seek. And the leads kicked butt once again.
Nice.
They don't know the spots, but the leads do.
Cool. All right, so we are just about out of time, but I would not be doing the industry the service that I should be doing it if I didn't mention that if you are within driving distance of southeastern PA this weekend, the East Coast Haunters Convention, which is presented by the same folks that run Trans World, is this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. If you haven't bought tickets yet, there are still tickets available. There are presentations, there's vendors, there's even some parties and stuff you can sign up for to go out and have an evening out. We have a booth there. The Haunted Attraction Association has a booth there, and we're actually doing a special giveaway. All new sign-up members, you come to our booth and you sign up at East Coast, you will be entered to win some VIP passes to a very local haunted house that may be written next to my name there. Or to check out something that's very special at Pennhurst, and that's our paranormal investigation. So it's a chance to win something really unique. But yeah, we want you to come out. We want you to see us at our booth, say hello to us. We are going to be there all weekend. And then, like I said, if you're in the area, Halloween, horror, I'm saying this like you don't already know, but yeah, East Coast is happening this weekend. You should be there. If you're close enough to drive, come and see it. It really is looking like an exceptional show. And a lot of people put a lot of hard work into it. So I expect it to be a phenomenal time for everybody. With that, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to come out and talk a little bit about what we view as culture and how to protect our people. These are big deals for us. So the mixers will keep marching on with different topics throughout every month. So watch our Facebook and tune in again. And we hope to see you. Otherwise, stay spooky, everybody.
All right.
Have a good night.
Adios.